I get that this thing could completely change life as we know it, right?
Okay.
But I want to understand it a little bit more now in terms of just how it works. Yeah.
Okay.
I know M-Pesa, and I know M-Pesa. So you talked about instant payments. I know M-Pesa can give me instant payments, for instance.
Okay.
I know that if I have a house today, I have the internet, I can go to what is it called? Buy Rent Kenya or any of those places. I can put up my house and somebody's going to click a button, or checky.com for my car and stuff like that. So I understand the internet, I understand M-Pesa, right? Explain to me blockchain, or how it works in a way that, borrowing from the things I already know, M-Pesa and internet, and what exactly is blockchain? Is it another internet, for instance? Are we going to shut down our current internet and go into a new internet called blockchain? What exactly is this blockchain?
Okay, so blockchain, basically, let me start with internet. Currently, internet, we use internet to exchange information, basically like pictures, videos, articles, and all that. But now, with blockchain, what we exchange is value. So this value can be currency, it can be an asset, but basically something of value, not information. So that is the only difference. Blockchain is for value, while internet does information. So I'm sure guys are asking, so is this like another internet or what? No. So basically blockchain just runs on internet. It just runs on the internet. The only thing that it adds on top is that it has given us the ability to actually transfer or exchange money from one computer to another computer without any middleman. That is a new tech that didn't exist before. If right now you want to send money from here to China, you'll have to go to a bank, then the bank has to go to another bank, to central bank, then that bank has to go to the other bank. So before it reaches the other party, we have gone through like almost like 4 different individuals. But now with blockchain technology, you can actually just send that money straight from this person in Kenya to this person in China with just a single button. So that's actually the juice of blockchain tech. We can exchange now value instantly, the way we share photos. So,
and what has blockchain done that makes it capable of doing that? So, to be honest with you, right now, I'm trying to think about something like PayPal, right? Okay. PayPal allows me to send money over the internet in a way.
Okay, but it uses the bank.
But it still goes through the banks, right? So,
yeah, it still has to go through
the challenge there is what you've got. Of course, so there's delays that come with that whole route. There is the cost of moving money, because then it means everybody who's playing a role in there has to make something out of it. Okay. The cost of transferring that money would be, right? So I get that. I get that. I'm just curious, how does it achieve that? How does it achieve that level of trust that removes the need to have, because these people play a very fundamental role in facilitating trust, right?
Yeah. Okay. That version of sending money, what do you mean? It needs KYC, like know your customer, know your client. But when you want to post something on the internet, nobody asks who you are. You just post it. You know, if you want to send a photo somewhere, you want to download, you just download. But you can't do that with money. You cannot do that with money. There has to be some middleman in the middle to verify and check and all that, and see if you're a human being, are you a robot. But now with blockchain, you can actually do that the same way you do your images and video. Nobody will ask you where are you, who's you, where's your place, show me your photo. There'll be nothing like that. So maybe if I can go to the tech, you'll find, for example, now how blockchain does that to ensure that it is secure. What it does is that all these values are put together to form a block. Okay?
Okay.
Now that's the part where people say block. So this block is then, for example, if you want to add, for you to be able to create this block of transactions, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it together, you need computing power. You need computing power for that. So you'll find, for example, that that part of the computer and mathematics maintains that value. And then when somebody else wants to create another block, he has to confirm that the previous transactions and blocks were actually done in order so that they can join together. So this joining of these blocks of transactions and value together is what forms the blockchain system. So that name, block and chain, because it is formed one after the other, after the other, after the other. And before you add a block, it has to check if the previous block, everything is in order, then it continues adding. A good example I can do that is, if you can remember olden days, maybe I wasn't born, but those olden times, I was told that when you want to vote, let's say there's an election, and then you want to select a leader. So they used to put a box there. Maybe they can write Kijana Omalwa, and then they tell the people to queue. So one person queues after the other, queues after the other, queues after the other. And no other person can actually enter from the top, from the side. You actually have to queue in order.
Yeah, sequential. Yeah.
And then at the same time, because that system is physical, like people can actually see and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was a trusted process. So if I use that example for blockchain, it's something like that. It's actually kind of like kind of old school like tech, but they've done it in a very cool way with computers and math, such that when people are viewing, they're counting the person who's won the election, they can see that there were physically 14 people who voted for Kijana Wamalwa. There were exactly 6 people who voted for this, and everyone can see it. So that's exactly a very good example of a blockchain system.
Okay. I think I'm following you now. So it's the technology has managed to create like a self-moderating or a self-checking way of validating everything that is going on the platform. And today the internet doesn't do that, and that's why you've got all these issues of whether it's fake news or whatever else that happens, because anybody can go on and put anything. People will be conned of their money on the internet today because there's no way of validating that the person you decided to do business with on the other side of the world truly is the person that say that they were going to do. There's something you told me earlier which I found interesting. You said that on the blockchain, the person is separated from the data.
Yeah. Okay. That is I'll come to that maybe when I'm
because I feel like that helps a lot with understanding that piece. So it's because on the it's all about the blocks, and the blocks have to make sense. If they don't make sense, then it's not a valid transaction.
Block. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is where the concept of the so-called smart contract comes in.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
It's like block in contract with each other.
Yeah, so you see in blockchain system, for it to be able to do that, okay, they gave it the term smart contract, but basically what it means is that there are rules of adding blocks. There are basically rules of how to add blocks to the blockchain. So you'll find that this has to be done, this has to be done. So let me do the example of the Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So let's say Coca-Cola is on a blockchain system, and then you want to buy the Coca-Cola. If by mistake that cashier or that POS system had an error, or maybe had a bug to the code, when you're trying to add that transaction to the block, it will check, has Coca-Cola been paid? Yes. Has KRA been paid? Yes. Has Nani been paid? Yes. If so, then that transaction is valid, and then it's added to the other transaction and put to the block. In the event whereby this value or this transaction is not correct, it shall not be added. That's actually the science to it. That's why we call it smart contract. Once all those rules have been followed, it's put together with other transactions and they form a block. And then it's added to the chain.
Yeah, I'm assuming that would also help with counterfeit goods in a sense, because if I buy something counterfeit, which means it's not on whatever ledger it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah. So actually, a good example is there are rules of I think the best example is rules of trade. You know that contract, the one you read, it says it has like 15 pages. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot do this. You can take all that law and put it in code. So when people are doing this business, it will be checking if this good is legit using that law. It will check part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, up to the end. If it's okay, that transaction is valid. If not, it will not go through. So it will be very easy to implement stuff. You just put the law inside the code, and the system just runs. If the code is faulty, you just add more. You just add more law to the code, and it continues adding up.
And it continues. And who does all that in terms of?
Now that is mathematics and computing power. So you will find now. Maybe if I go to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is